Hi there viewers, welcome back to this YouTube channel and it's Hamza Meet. My today's video is related with the Pakistan Studies P2 Geography, and today I'm going to continue with the second unit of geography, that is climate of Pakistan. In this video I'm going to discuss the very first topic of this unit. Let's see that what our today's topic is. So viewers, here we have our very first topic over here related with the factors affecting the temperature of Pakistan, and that is the latitudinal effect. It means that just because of the latitudes, the temperature of Pakistan varies. So let's start it with the diagram over here. Here you could see that the location of Pakistan over here, and there are few lines that we can see right there on the globe, which is being known as the Tropic of Cancer, the Equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now these horizontal lines which is being drawn right here on the globe are called as latitudes. As we know, our topic is related with the latitudinal effect. It means that just because of these latitudes, the temperature of Pakistan varies. How? Let's see that. When we talk about equator, equator exists on the 0 degrees, and this is a place where the rays of the sun are direct. Doesn't matter wherever the position of the sun would be, the rays on the equator would always be direct at 90 degrees. This is one reason that the temperature at equator is higher as compared to the other parts of the world. When we talk about Tropic of Cancer, the degrees of Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees north where it exists, and when we talk about Tropic of Capricorn, then it is 23.5 degrees south. So these are the latitudes right there on the screen, according to which you people would judge the latitudinal effect of the temperature of Pakistan. Moving back towards the concept, when we talk about equator, now there is one more thing that you people need to understand over here. As you move away from equator, either you move towards north or you move away from equator towards south. In both cases, the temperature would decrease. And as you move closer to equator, the temperature would increase. Now this is the basic phenomena that you people need to understand. Just because over here the temperature is more, as you are away from it, the temperature is lower. As you are closer to it, the temperature is higher. Now coming back towards the topic, the temperature of Pakistan. This is Tropic of Cancer. As I said, it is on 23.5 degrees north. So Pakistan basically started from 24 degrees north latitude, and it ended up at 37 degrees north latitude. So as you could see that this portion is the southern portion of Pakistan, and this is the northern portion of Pakistan. As I said, you are closer to equator, high temperature; away from equator, less temperature. Your southern part of Pakistan is more closer to equator as compared to your northern part of Pakistan. This is one reason that the southern portion have the higher temperature as compared to the northern one, which is more away from equator and have a low temperature. This is the first factor we have over here, because of which the temperature mainly varies in Pakistan, which is called as latitudinal effect. Moving towards our next factor, let's see that what is the second factor we have over here. Now the second one we have is the continental effect. Now this is something which is also known as the maritime influence. What maritime influence is? Here you could see that there are 2 points on the screen. The influence of sea on temperature. It means that maritime influence is something which is the influence of sea on temperature, because of which the temperature of Pakistan varies. So over here I am talking about the coastal area of Pakistan, that is the south of Pakistan, where we know that the Arabian Sea exists. So just because of that coastal area, the water body over there, the temperature differ. I would move towards the second point later, but before that, I need to explain a simple concept to make you people understand that how basically this all get affected by the sea. When we talk about two areas, one we have over here is the land, the interior part, and the other one we have over here is the coastal area, means the water body. Now when these two, they receive a heat, both of them, you're talking about a daytime, or you could say that summers. When they receive the heat, now land is something which get warmer quicker as compared to the water body. On the other side, the water body would take more time to get warmer, just because of which the land area would have high temperature and the water body would have a low temperature. On the other side, when we talk about night, either night or you could see that winters. Over here, when you have these two areas, lands or the water body, we know that these two would release the heat at night. Water body would release the heat as well as the land area. Now same process over here, that the land area would release the heat quicker as compared to the water body, just because of which the temperature over here would be lower as compared to the water body, which would take time to release the heat in night and would have a high temperature. This is one reason that the interior places, that is the land areas, they have extreme winters and extreme summers. If we talk about the coastal area of Pakistan, that is the location we have. The person living over here at point A, which is living on the inland area, and a person who is living at point B, which is on the coastal area, this person would receive a different kind of temperature because of the maritime influence. This is the second factor we have, the continental effect, because of which the temperature varies. Moving towards our third factor we have over here is the altitude and temperature. That is the third factor affecting the temperature. Let's see that what point we have over here. The point is the relationship between altitude, air density and temperature. When we talk about altitude, this is something which is related with the height. Means that the temperature varies because of the altitude, because of the height. The second thing that you people need to understand over here is the air density. Now this is something which is related with the water vapors. When we talk about the water vapors, one thing that you need to understand over here is that the water vapors have the characteristic to absorb heat. So it means that the more the water vapors would be, the more the temperature would be. Now this is something you need to understand first of all. Now moving towards the temperature, when we talk about the altitude and temperature, it means that we are talking about the highland areas of Pakistan. This is your point A, the highest altitude, and that is point B. This is something which is a sea level, means you are on the lower part of the highest place, that is the highland. When we talk about this place, point B, over here, listen this carefully, you have a more dense air. Why? Because at this point the water vapors are more. The amount of water vapors are more because of sea level. So over here the air is more dense just because of the more water vapors. So the heat absorption would be more, just because of which the temperature at this place would be high. On the other side, when we talk about A point, over here the air is less dense. It means that the amount of water vapors over here is low, just because we have less absorption of heat and just because of which we have low temperature. So This is why, just because of the highest altitude having the less dense air, it have a low temperature, and the more dense air on the lower level would have more water vapors with high temperature. One more thing that you need to understand over here is, which is a simple concept or effect. After every 1000 meters, when you move towards the altitude, this is 1000, 2000, 3000. After every 1000, there is a decrease in temperature of 6.5 degrees. Means if over here you have the 10 degrees, then the temperature would decrease at 2000 and would be minus 6.5 degrees in 10 degrees. That would be the lowest temperature would be recorded over here on the highest altitude. So as you move on the higher place, on the more altitude, the temperature would be less, and the reason is the air density. Now that is the third factor we have over here, the altitude and temperature, which is the reason behind the variation of the temperature of Pakistan. Moving towards our fourth factor, let's see that what is the next one we have over here. The fourth one is the cloud cover. Now this time I'm going to explain with another example, another diagram. So see this diagram very carefully. For example, if you have a land surface over here, which is mainly having the formation of clouds, and on the other side there is a land which is having no cloud cover. So if you have a daytime and there is a presence of sun and the rays are coming directly towards the land surface, from both examples we need to see that over here the rays are coming also directly towards the land surface. But as you could see that just because of the presence of the clouds over here, the rays would reflect back and won't be able to reach to the land surface completely, just because of which the temperature over here would be low. On the other side, just because we have no clouds, so just because of which the rays of the sun would reach directly to the land surface and the temperature would be high. On the other side, if we talk about the same thing, but in the night time when the heat is released, over here a land surface again with a cloud cover, and on the other side without a cloud cover. When in the night the heat is released and it has the presence of clouds, so what would happen is that the heat would be trapped just because of the presence of clouds. On the other side, when the heat released without the clouds, means no clouds, so there would be no place over here to trap the heat. So this heat which is releasing on the other side would be released completely, just because of which over here the temperature would be high because the heat is trapped because of the clouds, and on the other side just because there is no clouds, so over here the temperature would be lower. The perfect example related with this one would be the deserts. We know that the deserts are the places which are cool in night and they are warm in days, just because that they have this position or this scenario in the daytime, no cloud cover, and this scenario in the night time, no cloud cover. So in the daytime, just because the heat is coming directly to the land, the temperature would be high, and in the night time the heat is released completely, the temperature would be low. This is another factor because of which the temperature of Pakistan varies, the presence of the cloud cover or no presence of the cloud cover. Moving towards the last factor we have over here is the fifth one, that is the latitude and the angle of the sun, the fifth point. In this one you need to understand the angle of the sun in terms with the earth surface, means the earth or the globe. Now before I start with the diagram, let me clarify 2 points over here. Number one we have is the sun rays, they do not fall at the same angle on the globe. One thing that you need to understand. Second thing is that the latitudinal position determines the amount of heat received. Now let me clarify these 2 points with the help of a diagram. Over here, as you could see, that we have a globe. When we talk about the center point, as I said, that this portion, the central line, is called as equator. And as I said before, that in the previous slides, doesn't matter whatever the position of the sun is, the equator would receive the direct sun rays at the angle of 90, no matter where the position of the sun is. But as this point says that the sun rays do not fall at the same angle, so when we talk about the other latitudes like the North Pole, the northern area, and the South Pole of the globe, these two obviously receive the heat with a different angle. Now you could see that over here the angle differs. It is totally opposite as we could see that receive on the equator. Now here the two things happens. One thing, larger surface area in the atmosphere, the largest surface area that a ray had to travel, and just because of this reason it would have less heating effect. Why? Because when you have the rays which have to travel longer into the atmosphere, the impact of it would reduce and it would have a very less kind of heating effect because it had to cover a larger surface area. Same on the southern portion as well, as it has to move further through the atmosphere, so it would receive a very less heat over here. So this is why the second point mainly proved that the latitudinal position determines the amount of received by the heat received by the sun. One thing. Another thing is that you need to understand over here is the summers in Pakistan and the winters in Pakistan. Now let me clarify this one with the help of one example. For example, this is your globe and this is tilted like this. We know that the globe is somehow not straight, it is tilted. This is your point A, that is your position of the sun. Now when we talk about summers, during summers, the northern hemisphere, now we know that Pakistan is located in the northern hemisphere, which is above Tropic of Cancer, is more tilted towards the sun. How? This portion above equator is called as the northern hemisphere. Now this portion, as you could see from point A, is more tilted towards the sun, right? So just because of this reason, the sun mainly would have direct rays towards point A. The land absorbs more heat because of the high angle of the sun, and it faces the sun for a longer duration. So just because of which in summers you will have longer days and shorter nights. On the other side, when the position of the sun changes and it reaches towards that place when the winter comes, now what exactly happening over here is that now you could see that the northern hemisphere is more away from the sun, and point B, this portion below equator, is called as the southern hemisphere. Now this portion is more closer to sun, as you could see from point B, and point A, the northern hemisphere, is away from the sun as compared to the southern hemisphere. Now just because of which during winters, as the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, the angle of the sun would be low and the heat would be absorbed less, and it would face the shorter duration, shorter days and longer nights. Now this is one more reason, the angle of the sun, which varies the temperature in Pakistan, or this is how the summers or the winters, they have different kind of temperature if we talk about the location of Pakistan related with the latitude. Now this is it with the today's video. If you people have liked the video, please kindly do mention in the comment box your views. Please kindly don't forget to subscribe the channel and don't forget to like the video and share it. We will inshallah meet once again with a new video with the second part of our climate of Pakistan. We'll continue with it. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.